Why? It doesn't
Write in
matter.
the comments.
Wrestling.
Write in the comments which you prefer. Do you want him to be Craig the Gray, Gray, or do you want to be Craig the Gray, Grey? So you make your choice, and we'll listen to you. Whatever you say, that'll be his name from now on. Damn it!
Finalize it. We'll nail it down. We'll get it nailed down.
We'll trademark that shit.
Trademark it. We'll get the tech support and the marketing to change it over here if we need to. You know, whatever we got to do.
Did you know that the makeup guy and our trademark guy is the same guy?
I thought so, but he puts a mustache on when he's doing marketing, which is weird.
Yeah.
He puts a fake mustache on.
He's a clever little bastard. Sometimes he's a woman, and you don't know. I made the mistake. I was hitting on him.
Probably collecting like 3 or 4 paychecks.
Well, it's Bugs Bunny shit, is what it is.
That's what's going on there. Yeah.
It's Bugs Bunny shit.
Kind of crazy.
Wait, can we say Bugs Bunny? Or are we gonna get?
Bugs Bunny was so clever, man. Just outsmarting everybody, you know.
Bugs Bunny was the first trans actor, like transsexual.
Wow. Also, Bugs Bunny's been around for over 70 years and only 1 gray hair.
They're all gray.
But he's a hare. Get it? A rabbit.
Oh,
1 gray hair. Wow.
So today we are talking Tales from the Skinwalker Ranch, Part 1, because it's so vast. It's so vast.
So much to talk about.
We have to do some more parts on it, and there's just so much to tell on this. And so it is the most paranormal. I'm daring to say it. It is the most paranormal place on the entire planet. Would you agree?
No, you heard it here, folks. The most paranormal place in the whole planet.
Would you agree with that statement? Is it fair? After watching some of the
research? I think I'd agree. I mean, I didn't know too much about it before researching. You know, so do you want me to start off with some of the basics here?
Yeah, go ahead, and then we'll just pass it back and forth. Yeah.
All right, so Skywalker Ranch was made by George Lucas when he was doing the special effects for Star Wars. He made a whole Skywalker Ranch. What?
You did the research for Skywalker Ranch?
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Just a little joke, you know. We like to keep things light. Damn.
I was like, oh no, he botched the whole
5 pages of notes on George Lucas. Isn't that what we're doing?
He's like, this isn't paranormal. I don't get why we're picking this.
Well, all the special effects and the Ewoks.
All the magic happens at
all the magic happens. Okay, no, seriously though, for real this time. So Skinwalker Ranch. Here we are, northern Utah, paranormal hotspot. Okay, a high amount of strangeness that dates back to pre-settlement times. Okay, we're talking about a paranormal hotspot that. So the way back history, which we might go into even more into next week, I don't know, but the original thing. So there's this giant basin in northern Utah, where the ranch is, and in the basin it radiates a whole bunch of like different, you know, paranormal activity. But the epicenter is the ranch, where allegedly there was a curse placed by the Navajo. And the curse was placed by the Navajo tribe onto another tribe, which was called the Utes. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Utes. And they believe that the reason it's called Skinwalker Ranch is the Utes believe that it is the home of the Skinwalker, which is a creature that I guess comes from this curse.
So is that the hyena? Is that the part man, part hyena character?
Yeah, it's some kind of like feral, like wolf type dog creature.
So speaking of Utah, an interesting stat is that 3 out of 4 people in Utah have expressed some sort of paranormal thing in their life.
Whoa.
So it's like very rare in Utah to not experience something paranormal.
Wow. That's definitely.
So that's a hot spot in the world.
In all of the states for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so into the late 20th century, the people who own the ranch were anonymous. I don't know. Maybe you found some other data. I just put that they were anonymous.
Yeah. We didn't know who they were.
And then it was even empty for 7 years until it's purchased by the Sherman family, that's who we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah,
The Sherman family, they buy the ranch in 1994, and that's when things start getting a little bit crazy. Before that, it was empty for 7 years, so there's nobody to report anything. The owners before that are anonymous, and maybe if we dig and do some more research, there might be something about the previous owners, but I didn't see anything there.
So he got the Mr. Sherman. They don't really say the people's names, really.
Terry. It's Terry Sherman.
Okay, so Terry Sherman, he buys this ranch for an extremely cheap price, and so pretty much it's his dream to have a ranch, and it's beautiful, all this land, and he's wanted to be a rancher his whole life, and pretty much right away things are kind of weird. So they go and they see deadbolts all over their property, inside and out, the windows, the doors, both sides, and they see some chains where maybe the guard dogs were, and they thought maybe that the previous owners were just a little bit paranoid, and right away in the contract, it says something really strange, and we can talk about that for a few moments. It says you are not permitted to dig on this property without the consent of the previous owners.
That's very strange. I don't think that's normal for a contract. You think when you buy land, you just own it, you could do whatever you want. But to have a clause saying you're not allowed to dig until you get permission kind of makes you think like, well, what, did they bury something? Like, why would they, That seems suspicious to me, and I would even but I guess it was so cheap.
But you might be like, okay, they maybe even thought maybe someone was murdered here, but it's none of my business. I'm getting a good deal, and I don't want to wreck this sort of thing. So,
but if you're a rancher, you might have to dig a hole to do something. Like, what if you need to, I don't know, build a well, or you want to bury a dead cow or something? There's probably lots of reasons you might want to dig.
I'm thinking they're probably thinking, how are you going to know if we do this? So screw you. We're going to do it anyways. What are you going to do, right? So
yeah,
I think they're just.
I mean, maybe you would think okay, there might be some power lines that we just need to check with them. So maybe that's why. So maybe you would actually overlook it and not think it was that suspicious.
Yeah. So who knows?
Hard to say, but
so very first time they've got the cattle all put away, and they're just moved in, and off in the distance there's a wolf, and so the wolf starts doing sort of an S, sort of walking back and forth towards them, and the strange thing is that the wolf seems really super highly intelligent, and it's kind of looking at them, and it's wagging its tail, and they also notice that it's 3 times the size of a regular wolf. But the weird thing is that they end up patting the wolf, and
so Terry Sherman's dad is there helping them move in, and his dad, who's older, goes up to the wolf and pets the wolf, which I don't like. If you saw a big wolf, you wouldn't go pet it. They're wild, right?
There must have been some sort of trance or something going on with that animal, because
that's what I was going to say too. Yeah, could be.
That must have been such a strange scene, and so the cows are afraid, except for one baby cow who's sticking his head out, who's trying to see what's going on. And so they're patting the wolf, and everyone's kind of embracing the wolf, and they're thinking, oh, maybe it's someone's pet. And then all of a sudden, the wolf attacks the cow who's got his head out, and they can't get it. They can't get it free. They're bashing it with all sorts of stuff on his hind leg. It's nothing's hurting this thing. And so the Terry tells his son to get the Magnum,
Yeah.
And he shoots it, and I guess it kind of just makes it go away from the wolf, away from the cow.
Oh yeah.
And then, but it's not doing any damage. Just kind of like it kind of just wanders, like goes a few steps away, but the wolf is still trying to figure out how he can get the cow. And so he tells us, and he's noticing there's no blood on the wolf. So he tells his son to get the rifle, and then he shoots with the rifle. And actually, he shoots it another time with the Magnum. Then he gets the rifle and he shoots it, and he sees a patch of flesh come off the wolf. And the wolf finally decides that he's going to wander back into the woods. And at this point, they think, oh no, we have to follow this wolf and kill him.
Because it's just gonna terrorize his cows.
Yeah, he's gonna be back.
His cows come back. He's got to taste the baby cow. He's got to taste the veal, right? He's not gonna stop at just a little taste of that veal. I wonder what happened if that baby cow died or not. I don't see anything where it said that he died.
Yeah, I don't find anything in it, but it's, it had to die. I'm not thinking it made it.
Probably not. They probably had veal that night. Probably.
Yeah. Side note, I don't like veal. I tried it once.
Oh yeah.
Not a fan.
It's chewier than normal.
No, it's really tender.
It's tender, okay.
But morally, I don't agree with it, and I had to try it just to see. But anyways, back.
You're no wolf. You're no wolf.
I am. I am good. Anyways, they decide that they got to go off into the woods to find this thing, and so they come to a clearing. They see these mud tracks, and all of a sudden the mud tracks disappear, and it appears that the wolf has disappeared out of nowhere, and there's no way he could have just jumped through the mud. It's impossible. It just seems like it just disappeared into thin air.
Spooky. It's gonna come back. Some like part of this story. But also, so he was hunting with his son. Then they go back to the ranch after they can't find the wolf, and he finds the piece of flesh that he'd shot off with the shotgun or with the rifle. Finds it on the ground, and he was expecting it to be like fresh wound, like bloody and flesh, but it seemed rotted. There was no blood on it. It was just like a rotted piece of meat that looked like it had been out in the sun for weeks. So that's creepy and weird.
So the next sort of thing that starts happening with his wife, she buys some groceries, and she's putting all the groceries away. And I don't know what she did. She came back to the kitchen, I guess, and all the groceries she put away are back in the grocery bag.
That's some trickster stuff right there. Gwen. Her name's Gwen.
Thank you, Gwen.
German. Yeah.
And so Gwen also had a shower, and her towel and her comb that she left on the rack all of a sudden are not there, and she finds them in another place in the house.
Similar to what we were talking about with the ghost children, moving things around, playing tricks, kind of. Something's playing tricks with her. And
they seem to elevate with each sort of thing. The next thing is, I guess he's got I forget what they're called, post, the things that dig posts for fences.
Post digger?
Yes, a post digger. It's very simple. So he's looking over. They're looking for this post digger for weeks. It just disappeared, and they find it weeks later in a tree, way on the other side of the ranch, and it's way up there. And this thing weighs 7 pounds.
They're heavy, yeah.
Yeah, so there's no way that someone did that. It's just those little things.
No way a wolf did that.
No. Maybe it's Beowulf.
This story, if you don't know anything about Skinwalker Ranch, this story isn't just about a wolf. Let me tell you about that. There's more.
So yeah, you can go on with the next little part here.
All right, so we got the digger went missing. So his nephew visits. I guess Terry Sherman's nephew comes for a visit, and they're out at night, and they see lights in the distance. Now Terry had seen these lights before because they were like near, just off in the distance near the ground. He just thought that it was like somebody driving around who'd gotten lost, kind of came, down the way towards his property and then turned away. That's what he just kind of thought. Because, when you see lights in the distance, you just think it's a car because that's where your brain goes, right? That's the most obvious answer.
Just to interrupt you really quickly and get back on this. Spam the Man said, great topic. Thanks for watching, Spam.
Spam?
Spam the Man is his name.
Spam Man. All right. Thank you for watching. Excellent. Yeah, so he just thought it was, but then this time he thinks, wait a minute, these people might be hunting on my land because the lights didn't go away right away. So he thinks, well, they're probably hunting, so I should probably go confront them, right? Because he doesn't want people hunting on his land. As he gets closer, though, he notices there's no engine sound at all. And then as he gets closer to the lights, they all of a sudden start floating up off the ground and into the treetops. And then they just like float away. And that's the first time he saw them like floating around. But then after that, like all autumn, like all that season, he sees the lights regularly. So he sees these lights floating around. And then in winter, there's this. So they've been there pretty much almost a year now, I think. Wait, not quite. But anyway, he's so winter, there's some snow, and he's out on horseback, and he's searching for a lost cow. So one of his cows goes missing. All right. He sees hoof prints, so like the cow had been wandering around, and the cow was, and then he looks at these hoof prints, and from the way that they're, the distance that the hoof prints are from each other, and the way that they're on the thing, and Terry knows his cows because he's a rancher. Don't forget, he can tell
he's a cowboy.
He's a cowboy. All right, this ain't his first rodeo. Might be his last though.
Well, he's on the edge of his last rodeo. That's for sure.
Right? So he can tell the cow was clearly running from something, but running from what? Because he only saw the cow's prints. There's no other animal in the snow, so he can see these.
You gotta imagine at this point that wolf is in his mind.
That the cow is just running from the wolf in his mind.
Well, no, I'm saying at this point
Terry, yeah. He's thinking, "Where's the wolf? Maybe the wolf's chasing him."
Yeah,
these tracks, and the cow's just running. It appears from nothing, or maybe from something that's flying, right?
Yeah, that's true. The lights
could be the lights. But then, just like when they were trying to chase the wolf before, the tracks just stopped dead, as if the animal just disappeared, right? Disappeared, or who knows, maybe got carried away somehow or something, So yeah, over the winter, this starts happening more and more regularly. 4 more cows disappear. Terry decides to spend some time outside. He keeps seeing the lights in the distance. And then one morning, he sees a black mass floating above the ground. In his mind, it looked like a floating F-117 Nighthawk. That's the like stealth bomber, right?
Similar to the stealth, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like that weird-looking black shape hawk.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We did an earlier show about it on the reverse engineering.
That's true. We did. Yeah. But anyway, it's not that. That's what it looks like to him. But it's this floating black shape, and it's got colored lights that are searching the snow. And he sees this thing like moving slowly over the snow, like some kind of like vehicle, but it's floating. And then it turns to him, and it starts coming towards him.
Wait. So the reason it turns to him, it's quiet.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And he stretches because his arm's numb, and you make a little bit of a crack sound with his arm. And so that sound, there's no way that no one would even hear that sound within, unless you're within a couple feet of him. But apparently the
vehicle or whatever it is,
the UFO,
yeah,
turns off the lights and starts focusing on him.
It starts coming towards him, but then it doesn't actually get up to him. It just floats off. So I
think he was a little frightened at that point when you're stretching and all of a sudden crack and all of a sudden the lights go off. You're like, oh shit, right?
Even at this point, I'm thinking, what is this guy still doing on this ranch?
And you know what I would be doing at that point? I'd be pissing myself. I just tell you that much.
But I'm just shocked that like the family's still there. You know, they haven't left yet after all these things. I guess he's invested some money and he's got
it's everything there. Everything is invested in them.
Yeah, I guess so. But it was cheap. But now you can start to see why it was probably so cheap. Right. All right, and then into the new year, he keeps losing more cattle. Some of them start to reappear mutilated, the dead bodies of the cows.
So at this point, the cows were disappearing and they wouldn't return.
Right.
And now they're returning.
Yeah, well, now he's finding the dead bodies, right? And some of them are mutilated. I guess some of them are alive and mutilated.
It seems like that with the way they portrayed that. So I don't know, but it seems like.
But it's not like an animal attacking them. It's like precision cuts, like a surgical cuts into the cows with like equipment. That's what it seems like.
Now, if you want a good steak, you just don't. You got to look.
For the you just cut it off a fresh cow, still alive, with a laser. You just cut it right off, and boom, that's fresh meat. Didn't even die.
Now, if you can surgically repair that, can you cut from there later again?
If you use a laser, it automatically cauterizes as you're cutting. Yeah.
So what I'm asking is, if you cut that piece of meat out of the cow,
will it grow back?
And you find a way to like surgically repair him, can you later cut that piece of meat out again and eat it again?
I don't know. I don't know if that's a good question. Like if you could cut a chunk of flesh out of a cow, not enough to kill it, would it grow back? If you know the answers to this question, answer in the comments.
Well, you imagine if a chunk of my arm went missing right here, right?
I've seen people with surgery, like for cancer and stuff, and it doesn't grow back.
No, it doesn't grow back, but it kind of looks deformed, right? So that's what would happen.
Yeah.
So.
But also, and it says there was no blood. Like they were mutilated, but there was no blood on them. So definitely weird stuff going on there.
Yeah.
And then this starts happening with the family. I don't know why they're still staying in this house, but black featureless beings
started
popping up in the windows, right?
Sorry, I'm just gonna drop you. Spam the man. He said it would be scar tissue and it would be the toughest steak ever. He's right.
That's true. Good point. It's pretty tough. So what was I saying? Black featureless entities.
Yeah, that part creeped me out, man.
Standing above their beds.
Well, first he was speaking in their windows.
Oh, and there's whispers too. There's sounds of whispers.
So the dark features, he's speaking in their windows, and then he finds them they're finding them at the ends of their bed. So, side note here, common thing is at no point are they hurt in any way.
Right. We kind of
talked to a previous episode. We're talking about other things are kind of their animals are hurt. But in no way are they in any physical peril at all. And it's almost like they're not allowed to do anything physical to them.
It's like whatever entities are working in Skinwalker Ranch, they don't actually hurt humans, but they can hurt cows and
this goes into we'll talk about why maybe later, but just like we were talking about before this, that they don't have permission to do it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so they're also not only do they hear whispers, at night they hear the sounds of machinery outside, almost like a train is being built under their house.
This could go into the underground, what the digging is. They said that people are hearing almost trains underground.
So maybe maybe that's why you're not supposed to dig. It could be like
there's a railroad under there, damn it. It's the Underground Railroad.
Like an experimental base of some kind or something. But anyway, who knows? And then huge chunks of land start getting cut out of his land. Like big holes get cut out of the earth.
And this is 1995 by this point.
Right. They've been there over a year. Yeah. And then, oh, and this is creepy. He sees the herd. He sees, like, when he's looking at the herd, his herd of cows, he sees them move as if they're all moving out of the way of an invisible creature that's moving through the herd. So
Yeah. And you also see something like a cloaked creature. Yeah, and also there's Bigfoot there.
Right.
And the skinwalker animal himself, the hyena slash human sort of humanoid figure. So he was out one night looking for just doing some scouting or whatever, and he had his gun with him, had a scope, and he saw something strange in the sky, and it seemed so he just happened to have his scope rifle there, and he looked in the scope, and it looked like a portal. And on the other side is a blue sky, even though it's nighttime. And he seemed to see like different vessels, crafts, if you will, spaceships, if you will, going through the portal. So that's really strange. and next we have the odd thing is like you see the shadow people. You see the cryptids, the Bigfoots, and the wolves. But the weird thing is they're most afraid of the orbs.
Yeah, they call them the
that really got me. It's like, really, you're seeing giant wolves ripping your cattle. You're seeing, but the orbs is what's scaring you. I found that odd. So there's a blood red orb. And that would kind of scare the cattle and make them move around and stuff like that. And then they had one that everyone was just terrified of. They called it the Blue Meanie.
Mm-hmm.
And it just induced fear in everyone just by its presence. And this is the kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for them, actually.
It is, yeah.
He's got his dogs with him, and they start barking at this blue sphere, and they start chasing it, and he's thinking he's won a little bit of a moral victory here because the dogs aren't afraid. Ha ha ha, I tell you what, brother. And they go off into the woods, and you hear yelping and whatnot from the dogs. And so he's scared shitless at this point after that. And he's not going out looking for his dogs. He goes home and waits till daylight. And I guess they go back to where the dogs went off to. And in a pile of just debris of flesh is the dog.
Cauterized corpses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the orbs, I guess, and maybe that's why he saw tracks disappear, because maybe the orbs can just like incinerate animals or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like
it's not.
But yeah, that's the scariest thing.
This is the beginning of the end for the Sherman family, because they're not willing to take it anymore. They've lost 40 cattle by the time they figure out to leave. 40. That's
pets, and I don't know if there's cats involved too, but dogs.
Like, since he's losing money on his cattle, his wife has to take a job in town. So before he ends up leaving, though, he does contact a newspaper, and the story starts to get out there of some of his experiences. They laugh at him as first, people don't take him seriously. But it catches the eye of Robert T. Bigelow. Is that his name?
That Bam Bam Bigelow's brother.
Bam Bam Bigelow's brother comes into the story here.
Wow.
Bob Bigelow. Robert T. Bigelow, Bob T. Bigelow, who is, and we're going to talk about this more next week, who has started the National Institute for Discovery of Science, which is a paranormal research team. And he actually buys the ranch off Terry Sherman. and that's it. They leave. They're out, dropping the towel. Too many dead cows.
So let's get into this a little bit. Just kind of talk about. Okay, so at no point we talked about this a little earlier. At no point are they in any peril. It's scary, damn straight it is, but no one is harmed.
Yeah, but maybe they just got out in time. Who knows? Maybe they could have been harmed.
Well, listen, that wolf could have killed them right at the beginning.
Yeah, it's weird that it was being like intelligent and let them.
Yeah, let's start with that. Like, why is this wolf friendly?
That is very strange.
Yeah. And then it turns on a dime and
starts eating one of their cows. Yeah.
I wonder, check this out. I just got popped into my head. What if he's like, oh, new playthings kind of thing? And he's actually excited to see who's there. And he's just happy that there's new people to play with.
To terrorize.
Yeah.
There's nobody there for 7 years.
Yeah, so for 7 years.
7 years, it's empty, yeah.
So this creature wolf, he's just happy there's someone there to entertain himself. And he had no intention of wrecking that relationship at all. So
it is weird that it was friendly at first. And then that they don't, I mean, there was no report of them seeing the wolf again.
No, it's just like this one-time thing.
And these orbs and other invisible creatures, which makes me think like there's either a lot of different creatures on Skinwalker Ranch, like maybe it attracts a bunch of creatures.
Or it's just one creature.
Or it's a shape-shifting thing.
Yeah, it's just it's one thing and it's posing as all these other things.
Almost like that movie The Thing. Where it can turn into people, and what if it turned into his wife?
Oh, that would make sex at nighttime not so good.
It'd be weird.
Getting romantic
with her, and he just take her with. Who knows? Who knows? But there is more to come from Skinwalker Ranch. This is not the end. This is just the beginning.
Yeah,
This is the end of the beginning, not the beginning of the end.
Whoa! You just blew my mind.
I know.
Yeah, so what I find most perplexing about this is because you have nowhere in any, like when you go to a certain paranormal site, you get a haunted house, you go to an alien place where aliens are seen lots, you're not seeing other paranormal figures.
Right.
You're seeing just the one. Now, what did you call it over text? You called it the
what did I say?
Paranormal All-Stars?
Paranormal All-Stars, yeah, it is. It's the Paranormal All-Star team.
Yeah, so they're there at the Skinwalker Ranch, and that's where they compete and they practice. And then they send out to the rest of the world. All right, guys, we got you over here in the Fillmore building.
Well, it's interesting too. Most horror movies are usually just one thing, like it's one creature, or it's vampires, or it's ghosts, or it's one thing, right? But this is this like smorgasbord of multiple things, similar to the movie Cabin in the Woods, if you've ever seen that.
No, we talked about that last. I think we was off air. We talked about, or we talked about it
off air. Yeah, did a little educating on some of the classic horror movies. Now, the other thing too, like with the machinery being built underground, makes me think that the site might actually be some kind of like not. I'm not thinking like a government station, like a government lab or whatever, but it might be some kind of lab or experimental like
possible. That's possible.
Yeah, like base. Right? For maybe even not even like humans, just for like some other type of being. Because the portals too seem like kind of strange. Like maybe there's like something moving in between dimensions or different places. But also too, it could just be these creatures just messing with them. Like it's just
totally. Like if you have the ability to morph into something else,
then
making a portal that's not really there would be easy.
Sure. Yeah. And sometimes it just stands over their bed and watches them sleep. That's weird.
This would really make a really good movie. You don't even need to.
I looked it up. There is a Skinwalker movie. There's a Skinwalker Ranch movie. It doesn't look that good, though. It looks pretty low budget. It's not a...
Sam the Man said it's owned by a company that has no known origins. I don't know if he's talking about the original people who owned it.
Could be, yeah. That was also my research. It looked really mysterious who originally had the ranch. They were like a thing.
Well, the Navajo curse.
Right. We did an episode on curses, by the way, everybody. If you want to go back and look at the episode on curses.
So, it could be the curse that starts all this.
The curse could attract some kind of being, right? Like, so you put.
Well, if we go back into some of our very first episodes about Hell House in Indiana, it all has to do with witchcraft or some sort of thing like that starts it all.
Right.
So if we're talking demons here, they have to be invited.
Right.
So the curse could have invited this demonic sort of thing if it's that.
And I believe even was it Amityville Horror that there's one theory about it that it is actually like an ancient Aboriginal people like haunting the site, right? Because it's on a burial ground or something. Like there's a theory that it's on a burial ground.
Oh, this makes Amity Horrorville look like
child's play.
It makes it look like Mr. Dress Up.
It's true.
Yeah, like so I'll go to Amity Horrorville over this place any day. Now, have you watched the National Geographic show on this?
Not yet. I haven't watched too many things. I just watched a couple of videos. I am looking forward to finding out if it's like a tourist attraction or not. I imagine that there are.
Well, I don't know if it's History or National Geographic, one of the two. They have a weekly show on this.
Just on Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, just a weekly show, and it's just their kind of adventures on the ranch. Just so a lot of times their phone goes all wacky,
right,
and just starts like, you know how you have to enter your code into the phone. So somehow it magically gets the code in and breaks into the iPhone.
Whoa.
And I don't know if you know, but the iPhone is impossible to hack.
That's crazy. Police
can't even get into it.
This is not a good commercial for the iPhone.
Well, spirits can get into your iPhone.
You thought it was secure. It's not secure.
Listen, Apple, you need to make a spirit-proof
phone. Absolutely.
Phone. You can't have ghosts hacking into it.
No, what if I want to
put stuff on there?
Yeah. What if I want to stay at a hotel with ghost children in the hotel? I don't want them like downloading video games onto my phone, charging me.
Oh yeah, you'll be finding all these weird games on there.
That
kids are buying the extra things on the apps, like the extra. All of a sudden, you find you got $50 in jelly beans purchases.
Yeah.
So,
but I had an experience actually. One of the first smartphones I had. It was already old when I got it. I got it as a hand-me-down, and it all of a sudden, like, it was getting really old, and like sometimes it would glitch out and just cut out when I was calling and stuff. But one time, it just started like it was on the screen, and it just started like opening things. Like I wasn't even touching it, but it would open up like text and different apps, and then it would like start scrolling. It was like scrolling up and down, and it looked like it was possessed. I was like, "Whoa, my phone's like possessed!" And I took it to the phone repair place, and the guy said, "Oh yeah, that happens sometimes. It's like." The touch screen malfunctions and it just starts doing things. And I'm like, yeah, but it looks possessed. Like it's just doing, like, even I was showing him and it was like going up and down and stuff. He's like, yeah, it just happens sometimes.
Little side note story, unrelated to that at all.
A side note on my side note?
A side note on your side note.
This is a double side note. Okay.
Double side noting this shit. So my next door neighbor, somehow we both, not cell phone, but your home phone when you have the portable ones or whatever. So somehow our portable phone and their portable phone end up being on the same channel.
What?
And so I'm listening to his whole conversation. And so I see him the next day, and I told him all about his conversation. He's like, "How did you know that?" And I'm like, "God told me." So I didn't tell him that. He just thought I had some sort of power. And I just told him God told me. So he thought I was mystical. But it was just the cross lines.
Wow. That is supernatural right there.
It's something.
A side note on the side note. Okay.
A side note is supernatural.
I don't even remember where we were. We've taken so many side notes.
Do you want to take another one?
I do have a similar story. When I was a teenager, I had an old TV that still had the bunny ears, and I would go like way past on the channels and went to the channels that were all fuzzy. And there were these two channels that when I put the bunny ears up, it would actually pick up telephone calls in the neighborhood.
Oh,
it was super weird. Yeah. So I was like listening to like,
okay. So to get this back on the paranormal,
right. Where are we?
I'm doing another side note to get us back on.
Okay, this is how we veer off into triple side notes, but then
yes,
side note
so this is pretty much a U-turn
to the original topic.
Okay, so this is probably one of the strangest things that happened to me as a kid. I'm watching TV, and the snow comes on the screen all of a sudden,
mm-hmm.
and it was almost like a demonic sort of figure that appeared in the snow, and it said some sort of, I don't even know what it said, but it was this haunting voice that came out of the TV.
Whoa.
And then it went back to normal television like nothing had happened. I was the only one who saw it. And this is the first time I've ever said anything about
paranormal activity.
That's but there was nothing ever happened other than that. And it's the first time I've ever mentioned this in my entire life out loud. So
look at that. All the confessions here on
wrestling. Well, it almost feels like
wrestling with the paranormal in our own lives, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was going to take it back to our original topic where
so we pretty much wrapped this up for the Skinwalker, but I also find that for paranormal stuff, I think everyone kind of has something that happened.
Yeah.
And you either dismiss it as your mind playing tricks on you, or you don't want to admit that it happened because you don't want to seem crazy or whatever. But I think everyone pretty much has something that happened that is strange and not normal.
Yeah.
It's paranormal.
And sometimes in the light of day, like if something happens to you at night and you get really freaked out, but then the next day, it doesn't seem like you don't want to tell anybody because you're like, oh, I'm just not going to tell anybody about that. It doesn't seem that bad. The next day in the memory, it never seems as scary when it's daylight, you know? And you think about it, you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. I don't have to tell anybody.
And what's with the power of night?
Night is terrible. Night is freaky. It is. It just makes things scarier because it's dark.
Yeah, it's like
but even like, the witching hour, like, like 3 or 4 in the morning, it's extra creepy at like 3 or 4 in the morning. You can stay up till like 1 in the morning. It's not that bad. You're like, oh yeah, it's late or whatever. But if you stay up till like 4 in the morning, 4 in the morning is creepy for some reason.
So tell me if this has happened to you. You had a bad dream, like a creepy dream. You wake up, you look at the clock. It's 3 o'clock exactly. How many times has that happened to you?
That has happened to me. It's weird.
That has happened to me more times than I can count.
Yeah.
That 3 o'clock exactly, you wake up, and it's creepy as hell. I'll tell you what. So I think we can wrap this up for today's episode. We're going to do this again next week.
Oh yeah, part 2. This is just part.
We don't know if we're going to do part 3 right away after part 2. We may save that for later. We're going to see how we feel as we go if we get bored of the topic.
Well,
But,
Halloween's coming up. We might do like a Halloween topic of some kind.
now, our shirts are still in the mail. It's taking forever.
It's taking forever. Yeah.
So I'm thinking next week our shirts are definitely going to be here. So we'll both be wearing our Wrestling with the Paranormal shirt.
Wait, we're both going to be,
We'll
promoting.
be blinged out in our paranormal shirts.
Blinged out, double purple here. No, they're great. They're charcoal.
Spam the man. He says, "Heck yeah, great show, guys."
Thanks, Spam.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for
you,
sticking with us the whole way. You are the man. Thank you so much. You are Spam the man. If you want to check us out on effandwrestling.com, it has our Instagram there. It has our AFW Prediction League. It has our Facebook group. It has everything. Check it out. If you want to buy a shirt and support us, go to Pro Wrestling Tees /effandwrestling and put a shirt on your back. And I think that's about it. And we'll see you next week.
Keep on wrestling with the paranormal.